The heroin and prescription drug epidemic is finally getting the attention from politicians because families devastated by this tragedy are speaking out.
A year ago, my stepdaughter died of heroin overdose.
I have to confess to you, I did not believe I would be talking as much as I do about substance abuse, but that's what I started hearing about. It started in the earliest days of this campaign.
I also lost a son. Excuse me, I'm sorry. But it was due to mental illness, which all wraps into this. And I think so many people are mentally ill and are not diagnosed. And that's how they end up on drugs and alcohol.
Proof that death and addiction has no social or economic boundaries can be found in the fact that at least 4 candidates running for president have had a family member die of an overdose or receive drug treatment. Recently, Pastor Rafael Cruz, father of presidential candidate Ted Cruz, spoke to us about the death of his daughter from a drug overdose.
She was taking a lot of pain medications, and so she had a very difficult life, and actually I feel that she was a very bright young woman, and just her involvement with drugs probably was a hindrance to her achieving all that maybe God had in mind planned for her. But it was a sad situation that even when my son Ted and I visited with her to try to rescue her out of cocaine, that she didn't want it. And it just had to come to the point to where she was at the end of herself.
Also, Carly Fiorina and Donald Trump have spoken publicly about the loss of a loved one to addiction.
My husband Frank and I buried a child to drug addiction. So, we must invest more in the treatment of drugs.
But I had a brother who was a fantastic guy, Fred, and he was a young man, and he passed away at a fairly young age, and he was an alcoholic. He died of alcoholism.
In addition, an adult child of one candidate had a highly publicized incident that led to a drug treatment program more than a decade ago. Given the wide breadth of the heroin and prescription drug epidemic, more people in the United States now die of a drug overdose than car accidents. It is not surprising that the epidemic has directly impacted the lives of presidential candidates.
I know that addiction is the great equalizer, right? It doesn't care about socioeconomic factors, it doesn't care about ethnicity, it doesn't care about age or race or anything. It really can affect any family. So the fact that some of the Republican candidates have addiction in their families or have experienced things themselves doesn't surprise me a bit.
Many people attribute addiction to the behavior of the user, contending that people have a choice and they choose to do drugs. This approach is the underlying reason why we put people in jail for drug use and focus our resources into stopping the supply of drugs.
I believe that we need to shut off the supply of heroin. As you probably know, you can buy a pack of heroin for less than you buy cigarettes in some places.
The counter view is that while initial drug use is a choice, for many reasons ranging from genetics to the nature of the drug, the brain eventually becomes affected by long-term use, and the need for the drug overwhelms all other desires. This disease model would radically change our criminal justice and substance abuse strategies.
Don't worry about people accusing you of being soft on crime. Throwing people in jail who are nonviolent drug users being stupid on crime.
You know, this is a disease. This is a chronic condition.
If I do become president of the United States, then I'm going to be talking about this in every corner of this country. Make sure that families come out of the shadows and talk about this problem, because they'll know that everybody in this country, from the President of the United States on down, understands this disease, understands the need for greater availability of treatment, understands that we should not be incarcerating every person who has a disease, and to make sure that we give everyone the tools they need to be able to reclaim their lives. That's what's most important in this country.